Hey everyone, I am back with a new video and this is going to be a speed paint of an artwork that I did not too long ago, and there is a bit of a story that goes along with this since, like with most of the art I do, there is a bit of experience that I tend to share or talk about, and sometimes I also like to share some things I've learned along the way, all that kind of jazz. So let's get started. Okay, so last year, which technically was only a few weeks ago, but anyway, on October last year, I participated in Inktober, though I didn't manage to complete the 30 days because unfortunately, October is the month of final university assessments and the start of the exam period, so it was a very unfortunate and horrible timing. But anyway, I mainly posted my Inktober drawings on Instagram, and for the first half of October, I was doing really well. Like, I was drawing every day, and I was proud of most of them, and I also saw some potential for some of them to be turned into finished artworks. So that became the plan. And that's where this drawing came about, actually. The reason why I decided to turn this into a relatively large artwork is because of the entire vibe that I got from the Inktober drawing. There were flowers, and she had a smile on her face, which, let's be honest, I don't really do a lot of drawings of girls with a very bright and bubbly facial expression, and with the shift of my art, I've been drawing rather, I wouldn't say dark, but maybe somber sort of pieces. For example, the Meet Me in the Woods drawing, or growth, waiting, all that. So I wanted something a little bit different. Plus, October was also the month of spring in Australia, so it was a perfect fit around that time when I created the first drawing. So there are flowers, some vibrant colors, etc. Okay, so that was the first drawing, and I've inserted an image of it in the video just so you don't get confused as I tell the story. At first, I wanted to make it into an A3 drawing, and I had this whole idea that I was going to use brown paper to draw it for the second time. And I was really excited then because it was going to be A3, and I had all of these ideas of how I was going to approach the piece. And I'll insert another image of the second drawing. So I was thinking of using materials such as ink, Copics, and soft pastels, since in the past, when I've used soft pastels even on black paper, I was able to get vibrant colors. So I wasn't worried that the colors would turn out dull, but it did. That was the thing I didn't foresee. Because it's brown paper, the colors looked dull. And I tried to make it brighter with the soft pastels, but when I did that, it would cover the line work that I did with ink, which I didn't want to happen, so there was that problem with the second drawing. I did finish the drawing, though, which took several hours to complete, and in all honesty, I kept on telling myself that I liked it just so I could like the second drawing, because obviously I spent time and effort completing it, and I didn't want that to seemingly go to waste by admitting that I wasn't proud of the drawing. So what I did was I hung the A3 drawing on my wall for several weeks in hopes that every time I see it, it grows on me. Like, you know how sometimes you have a drawing or whatever and you don't like it, so you convince yourself that it's absolutely horrible. Then the next time that you see it, you think to yourself that it's not so bad after all. And that's what I was hoping would happen, but it didn't. I still didn't like it, and I was contemplating on uploading the video for it because I did film the entire thing. So I decided that, yep, okay, I'm just going to draw it again. And so we arrived to this drawing, which is the third time I've drawn this. There were a few problems with the second drawing and eventually transferring the original Inktober drawing to a larger surface. And this tends to happen when you change the scale of the drawing. Sometimes things look better at a certain scale, whether it's small or big. So I figured out what it was in the first drawing that I really liked and wanted to keep, and which one I would improve. I wanted to improve the pose and the face, but I wanted to keep the size of the flowers relative to the girl. So I wanted to keep the proportion of the elements. With the second drawing, the flowers were too small compared to the girl, so it didn't have the same look as the original anymore. Therefore, it lost the element that I liked about it. And this tends to happen when you want to turn a sketch into a finished piece. That's why I tend to make my sketches rough so that there's a vast difference between the sketch and the final illustration. Since the first drawing was relatively refined already, it made it more difficult to transfer not only the drawing into a larger surface, but also to transfer its essence. And so I suppose the lesson I've learned from this experience, though not exclusively, is that if a drawing does not turn out the way you've imagined it, there are three options that I know. The first one is to try and fix it. That's what I did when I used the soft pastels on the second drawing to make the colors more vibrant. However, some drawings cannot be salvaged, so the second option is to scrap the idea. That's also what I did with the brown paper. I think if I had more experience working with brown paper, it would have worked, but I didn't test it to begin with. It was a bit ambitious to immediately go for the brown paper without testing it, so that led to the mistake. And the third option is to draw it again from scratch. I've never mentioned this before, but if you've watched my video for the drawing titled Thoughts, or the longer version, My Thoughts Are Like Fish Swimming in Space, that was actually also the third time I've drawn that illustration. So it seems like the third time's a charm, as they say. And that's the thing, you don't know these unless I actually share them. As an artist yourself, no one has to know the entire process of how you've finished an artwork, whether it's taken you 500 tries just to get something to look the way you've envisioned it. No one has to know unless, like myself, you share it to the world. And so I wanted to share this experience because I get so many messages of young artists telling me that they have a hard time making their drawings turn out the way they've imagined it. And it's all about practice because the more you draw, the better you become. But I also just want to say that you also have the choice to draw something again if it doesn't turn out the way you want. You're the artist, it's your art. Do whatever you want to make it work for yourself. And so this turned out much better than I could have hoped for, to be honest. I did encounter some mistakes along the way because sometimes what I've envisioned is a little bit vague, but I managed to fix things and now I am super happy with how it turned out. The colors are vibrant, the line work stands out, which is exactly what I wanted, and this one technically took a couple of hours, but all in all, to produce this drawing, it took days to complete. And yeah, that's my experience, and I suppose those are my tips, but let me know if there's something that you do in this kind of situation where a drawing you've created doesn't turn out the way you've imagined. I would love to read other tips of fellow artists because obviously my experience is just a single experience out of millions out there. And my tips are also just one out of multiple ways to deal with the situation. And YouTube is such an open platform to share ideas and techniques, so feel free to share your techniques down below in case other young artists read comments as well. I would definitely love to read any of them, and for sure, you guys have helped me with some tips before, so let's all help each other out. And that's all I have to say about this drawing. I hope you liked this drawing and also that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. I have also linked my social media accounts in the description box below, such as my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. You can also find prints and other reproductions of this drawing on my Society 6 shop, which is also linked in the description box. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.